Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I hope that you are well today. It is Tuesday afternoon, a few weeks after Easter. It is also the last week of April, and our weather is finally starting to reflect that just a little bit. We'll see about what tomorrow brings. If we were gathering in church on Sunday, we would be celebrating Holy Communion together. And yet, we do not know when we will be gathering together to receive communion. For we know that even when it is safe to begin to gather together in worship, it may not yet be safe to gather and receive from a shared cup and a common loaf. A month ago, sharing communion together did not feel as urgent as it feels today. We had been apart for only a few weeks, and I had Easter on my mind and Holy Week services and missing being together for those services. This week feels different. I need some sustenance for the journey. I need some of God's grace found in that sacred meal. The Israelites felt that same longing. Hear these words from Exodus chapter 16. The whole congregation of the Israelites set out from Elim, and Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. The whole congregation of the Israelites complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, where we sat by the flesh pots and ate our fill of bread. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." Then the Lord said to Moses, "I am going to rain bread from heaven for you, and each day the people shall go out and gather enough for that day." Then Moses said to Aaron, "Say to the whole congregation of the Israelites, 'Draw near to the Lord, for he has heard your complaining.'" And as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the Israelites, they looked toward the wilderness, and the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. The Lord spoke to Moses and said, "I have heard the complaining of the Israelites. Say to them, 'At twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall have your fill of bread. Then you shall know that I am the Lord your God.'" In the evening, quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning there was a layer of dew around the camp. When the layer of dew lifted, there on the surface of the wilderness was a fine, flaky substance, as fine as frost on the ground. When the Israelites saw it, they said to one another, "What is it?" For they did not know what it was. Moses said to them, "It is the bread that the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord commanded. Gather as much of it as each of you needs, an omer to a person according to the number of persons, all providing for those in their tents." The Israelites did so, some gathering more, some gathering less. But when they measured it, it was an omer. Those who had gathered much had nothing left over, and those who had gathered little had no shortage. They gathered as much as they needed. Like the Israelites received manna, which they were not used to eating, but it filled them until they reached the promised land, we have the opportunity to receive communion in a new way. This holy mystery asserts the Wesleyan tradition affirms the reality of Christ's presence, although it does not claim to explain it fully. Instead of saying, "What is it?" and experiencing God's grace like the Israelites did, we might say, "How can this be?" and so experience God's grace together as we are gathered in spirit. So this Sunday, we will share in Holy Communion together. Perhaps you enjoy making and baking bread, and you will want to bake some bread specifically for communion. Or maybe you can't find flour in the store, or perhaps you have a slice of bread or some crackers or a muffin that you will choose to use. The same goes for the juice. The elements might be different, and the venue certainly is, but the grace of God never changes. On that night in which Jesus gave himself up for each and every one of us, Jesus offered his friends what he had with them and made them holy. By God's grace, our ordinary elements will become holy and sustain us for the journey. I hope that you will join me on Sunday with something like bread and a drink, so we might receive God's grace together. My friends, I hope you are well. I miss you. I am praying for you. Take care.